And go.
Nikumbushe.
How did you start on your journey to clean?
Wanted to eat clean, nini, and then...
Oh yeah, so I was trying to remember what
Yeah.
that name is. Oh, my hairs.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. My name is Kevin, and this is my wife Kate. We are a family of 2, so we only cook for 2, but we cook for a number of days.
So for today, we'll be using the pot-in-pot method. Advantage of that is we'll be able to make 2 meals at once, and we'll be making some steamed rice and some chicken curry.
So my journey into clean cooking started when I realized I was adding a bit of weight, and I figured I need to change my diet. Among exercising and everything else, diet is also quite important. So I found it easier to use an electric pressure cooker, which was introduced to by PikaNaPower, and that made it a lot easier for me as a bachelor to cook a lot of food at a very short time, because it saved on a lot of time, a lot of money, I guess, at that point, because I had not done my calculations until I was taken through the tutorial of how it actually works and shown the benefits of using it. So that's where my clean cooking journey started.
Yeah, so my introduction to EPC or Jikoni Magic was through my husband, then boyfriend. So visiting him, finding a very fancy gadget which has all these labels, and I was not sold on it. I was used to the traditional pressure cooker. With all the noises, that to me that was the trusted method of boiling your beans and your cereals, the works. It took me a long time before I used it, but after using it a couple of times, my apprehension stopped, and now I am I'm a champion of it. I don't even know where my pressure cooker is anymore. Yeah. My favorite meal to cook on the EPC is beef stew. Anything that is meat-based. I know he started this as a clean journey, eating healthier, less red meat and all that, but I love red meat, so I really love using the EPC for beef stew. So when I first started using the EPC, my main concern was I don't have control of my cooking. You know, every so often in the normal cooking way, you'll check for salt, you'll see if your spices are the right balance. So that was a challenge, to just put everything in, close the EPC, and wait for the magic to happen. So that was a challenge for sure. But the taste, I've come to realize, doesn't really change once you know how you mix your spices. So it works well for me now.
I was very apprehensive about adopting clean cooking, and especially using the EPC, because I had never used one in my life. I've always feared that when it pops, and I'd step out of the kitchen just in case. I'd put it below a cabinet so that if it blows up, it goes up. It doesn't blow the entire kitchen. So I was very apprehensive at first. And then the second apprehension was because I was broke at that time. Anything that costed me an extra shilling was a no.
Time. You know, we're both working adults, you know, you get home, it's quite late. You don't have the time to start doing all the things that you need to do to just get a meal ready. But this way, it really works. You put in all of your ingredients and close it up, and you can continue to do what you need to do. You know, take your shower, do everything you need to do around the house, prep for the next day, and wait for your meal to cook.
So what made me fully adopt the EPC was the time it saved for me. That I think was the biggest one, because you know, I was in school at that point. I was working. I'd started my own company as well, and I was also dating her. So getting time for everything was quite tasking, but it would be a lot easier if, you know, like if she was coming over, I know, okay, I can throw in a quick meal over here and there. I have food for the next day or two.
For the EPC, some of the things that are a bit of a challenge to use is some of the settings, because I mean, there's a setting on there for porridge. I don't know how that is supposed to work. I think there's another one for I don't know, eggs. It's just some are not as straightforward as if I'm doing cereals, and that's why we probably only use it at the moment for cereals and meats.
I don't think there's much I'd like modified on the EPC, honestly, because most of the functions I learned through the manual, I learned through the tutorial classes we did with Jikoni Magic. I didn't transfer all that detail to my wife, but so now some of it potered, but I think, like I'll probably go to YouTube and search for, how to use the eggs option on it. So she will do that. Yeah. Then also, I feel like the options are not as many. If this was to be customized into a Kenyan scenario, I'd see there Njahi. I know, okay, I just press this button and then it gives me the best settings for cooking Njahi. There's a few settings that you can't change the temperature or the time. I'd like that to be an option for all the cooking settings that are there. That would really help in terms of knowing I can actually make it the way I want, not the way it's been set by somebody. Of course, they did research to set it that way, but I still like that option.
In terms of impact from the EPC, it's a lot easier to use it when you don't have a lot of time. It also is cost effective, to be honest. I think initially when he had it, there was the gadget to measure units that have been used for when you're using the EPC, and it was barely, using up any units. When I compare with the old method, it's a lot faster, so it's convenient. We have busy lives. Honestly, it's just so much, it saves us a lot of headache. And even us trying to say, okay, so who's cooking? Because I don't have the time to go and do all the work in the kitchen.
Using the EPC has really helped. My journey started with me trying to lose weight, and it has done that for the better part of 2 years. But it has really helped me with that journey, and I've been able to save a lot of time, money, appreciate even the art of cooking itself, because now I'm even more interested in finding out what can I cook using the EPC that I would use to cook the other methods. And that's why I adopted it faster than anything else.
The EPC would impact other people a lot, especially when I think of my family members who, for example, my mom, my sister, who are probably still using the old methods. And by old, it's older than what I was using. I'm talking about the jiko. Boiling your githeri with the jiko takes forever. This would save them a lot of time. A lot of, in terms of costs, because then you don't have to incur the cost of charcoal, all these things, and just time. Githeri takes forever to cook over a jiko. It's not something I would ever want to go back to. Everybody
should adopt EPC, and this I say with a lot of conviction, because if I was able to change her mind, I can change anybody else's mind. My final sentiment would be to anybody who's still not sure whether they are going to adopt it, and especially in terms of, you look at the cost of buying the EPC itself, and it's a bit high, but the benefit of that over time really helps you and your family, because I can't remember the last time we bought gas. I think it was almost a year or a year and a half ago. The food tastes the same, everything comes out perfectly. I can assure you, by the time you're a month in or even a few weeks in, depending on the tutorials that you get, you'll be enjoying the benefits of this, and they will surpass the cost of it completely.